StandNews today in Hong Kong?
Well, 6 figures linked to StandNews were arrested in the early hours. 200 national security officers raided the offices in scenes that resembled the raid on the Apple Daily offices earlier in the year. Footage showed police taking dozens of boxes out of the newsroom. The acting chief editor, Patrick Lam, was among those arrested. He immediately stepped down. You also have Ronson Chan, who was detained but not arrested. He's also the head of the Hong Kong Journalists Association. Now, this is a not-for-profit online news outlet. It has a pro-democracy slant, but it's very widely read and respected. As the day went on today, we heard from the National Security Police, but by about 4 p.m., they had shut down completely, and by 11 p.m. local time, not long ago, their entire website had been replaced with a closure message.
And so was this an expected move by the authorities? Did the staff members of StandNews see this coming?
Well, I guess there is somewhat of a process that we have seen whereby you see some attention or saber rattling within the statement press. Eventually, you will see officials or the local police take an interest and make remarks about certain civil society groups or entities. I mean, since the onset of the national security law, over 50 groups have disbanded under pressure. And one might say that StandNews may have seen it coming in that just after the Apple Daily raid, they removed all opinion pieces from their website. It also halted donations, and 6 of the 8 board members, some of which were arrested today, stepped down. The timing of this also comes just a day after Apple Daily in court were also hit with this colonial era charge under which people were arrested today of conspiring to publish seditious publications. This law, of course, predates the security law, but it is being enforced by the National Security Police. This comes just a few weeks after Chief Secretary John Lee accused the news outlet of being biased over some of its reporting on local smart prisons.
And that message officials posted on the door of StandNews today, office closed, does that imply they are shuttered permanently?
Well, already StandNews itself has taken the prerogative to shut itself down, perhaps because some of its leadership now will be seeking bail, or perhaps they want to remove things as things are being investigated. But yeah, as of 11 p.m., all of its content and its social media feeds have been removed entirely. This was similar moves and playbook as to what happened with Apple Daily. Steve Lee, the senior superintendent of the National Security Police, sort of evaded questions as to whether this was what the authorities desired. They just went on to say that its funds have now been frozen. It wants to investigate what its UK arm is intended for. They said that they have concealed monetary transfers and basically appealed to anybody with links to StandNews to sever them.
So very clearly, media people in Hong Kong are under threat. I mean, it seems one by one, independent media are getting choked off by Beijing. What kind of an effect has this had on the already shrinking free media landscape in Hong Kong?
Yeah, of course, we've already seen Apple Daily shut down and its leadership arrested. RTHK, the local equivalent of NPR or the BBC, has come under pressure and has been accused of basically becoming state media by some quarters. Today shows that this crackdown on press freedom, despite this all-patriots election that has seen basically a legislature returned with just pro-Beijing and pro-establishment lawmakers, this crackdown is seemingly going to continue regardless into the new year. And police have shown that they have a willingness to use colonial era sedition laws as well as a national security law to tighten the screws.
So you're expecting more of this going into the new year? I mean, is this just how it's going to be going forward in Hong Kong?
It's very difficult as to know, when things may end. In this sense, we don't know whether we're looking at a Hong Kong that may resemble more like the mainland or something like Singapore, where there is quite tight restrictions and a fake news law. But certainly we've seen over 100 arrests in light of the national security law. Over 50 groups disband. The government has said that this has all brought stability after the 2019 unrest, but obviously a lot of concerns from the media industry now and a lot of criticism from the local press club, from Reporters Without Borders and from the constituent journalists tonight as another news outlet disbands in Hong Kong.
Tom Grundy is the editor-in-chief of the Hong Kong Free Press, an independent media organization based in Hong Kong. Tom, thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.